Chapter 736, Faces of the Living Beings. The crisis changed people's attitude. Zhang Yanfeng suddenly went quiet, while Wang Yan and her husband were having a heated argument because her husband had actually abandoned her during the escape. Only Lu Shu was calm as usual. Their marriage seemed perfect in the past. But no one would have expected that a caring man, who had carried a pack of rice for making porridge even during the walking expedition, would leave his wife behind when her life was in danger. Wang Yan found the contrast hard to accept. She yelled, "All men are devils." Meanwhile, Wang Zhe was still immersed in his inflated ego. The team settled down where they were. It was a relatively safe campsite as wolf packs would not enter the territory of the Class E giant bear. The smell of the bear's feces was enough as deterrence. As Zhang Yanfeng set up the tent, he spoke to Lu Shu softly, "Thank you. I will pay back your favor." As the saying went, people's true nature would be exposed in a crisis. Never had Zhang Yanfeng expected that the seemingly invisible young man would defend him at that critical moment. Moreover, the man's strength was incredible, and he remained calm while others had a fit of nerves for survival. Thus, Zhang Yanfeng had deduced that this young man was a powerful figure in disguise. In fact, he had the best view of what happened at that time. He clearly saw Lu Shu trip Wang Zhe seemingly unintentionally, and then dragged him downhill. Wang Zhe was an expert whom he had taken great effort to find. Despite his Class D abilities, he showed his undisguised cowardliness and tried to abandon the entire team. In the magical era, many rose to glory, and many fell from it too. Zhang Yanfeng belonged to the latter. He used to be a wolf slaughterer, but wild creatures following spirit chi regeneration were way stronger than humans. Thus, as the team leader, he had no choice but to seek more powerful secret practitioners. Lu Shu looked at him with a smile. "There's no need to thank me." Zhang Yanfeng looked down. "I have to." Lu Shu interrupted him, "I mean, it's useless to say those things. Where's my gold bar?" From Zhang Yanfeng's distress, plus 666. Zhang Yanfeng dug out the gold bar from the inside of his wide leather belt and stuffed it in Lu Shu's waiting hands. Lu Shu grinned. "There is neither fairness nor justice in this world. You are the only one you can depend on." At nightfall, the campsite was all set up. This time, Zhang Yanfeng did not set up the fishing net, as it would prove useless in this situation. Wang Yan was still arguing with her husband regarding their divorce. But Lu Shu thought it would be an unwise idea because all her food supply was still with her husband. She should at least claim it back before talking about divorce. That day, Zhang Yanfeng did not talk to Wang Zhe. Instead, he sat beside Lu Shu. At this moment, Wang Yan walked towards them, looking embarrassed. "Can you lend me some food?" Lu Shu shook his head and replied, "All the food has gone bad." "Fruits then," said Wang Yan, "I have money." Lu Shu shook his head again. "Fruits too. Why has everything gone bad?" Wang Yan asked, about to cry. After a short pause, Lu Shu replied, "It's because all men are devils, I suppose." From Wang Yan's distress, plus 666. Zhang Yanfeng was dumbstruck, his jaw dropped. Now he realized how mean this young man was. At this instant, at the end of the undulating sand hills, brightness shone from the dark horizon of the Kunlun Mountains. Yet, the light was blue, like a blue fire. Everyone stood up and gazed towards the direction of Death Valley. Stunned, Zhang Yanfeng murmured, "It's Death Valley. The gate of hell is open." Lu Shu's expression was stern and serious. As expected, there was something strange about Death Valley, which explained the retreat order from the Heavenly Network. However, Wang Zhe shouted excitedly, "To hell with the gate of hell. Why aren't we seeing any monsters if it really is? It's the birth of the treasure of heaven and earth." His ego had inflated after killing the bear. Thus, he had chosen this route to try his luck in the Kunlun Mountains. As the first holy mountain of ancient mythology, the mountain range harbored countless mysteries. It was almost certain that the treasure of the gods was inside the Kunlun Mountains if it really existed. Wang Zhe packed up his tent and backpack. Wang Yan asked nervously, "What are you doing?" "I'm entering the mountains before sunrise," replied Wang Zhe, barely concealing his excitement. "Then what about us?" someone asked. "They would not be able to defeat a wolf pack on this land ridden with mutated wild animals." Wang Zhe let out a cold laugh. "I don't care. The wolves can catch you, not me." Then, he strode towards the Death Valley. He was confident that he would have outrun the giant bear earlier in the afternoon had he not been tripped. Hence, he decided to keep these people here in case they would compete for the treasure of gods with him in the future. Lu Shu did not stop him. According to the reliable information from the Heavenly Network, even Class Cs had vanished in the valley mysteriously, let alone a Class D secret practitioner like him. Gazing at Wang Zhe's receding figure, Zhang Yanfeng asked Lu Shu, "So what now?" "I will walk further inside." "You can choose whether to stay or leave," Lu Shu said. He had decided to reveal his true self. "Don't worry. I will come back once I have a look at Death Valley. So you all can wait here until I return." Meanwhile, the rest had also noticed that Zhang Yanfeng was asking this unpopular boy for advice. And there was a certain strength in his words. "I'm going with you," Zhang Yanfeng said firmly. "I will be of some help, though I'm not a practitioner." "Payment?" Lu Shu asked. Zhang Yanfeng hesitated. No need. He did not want the boy to leave directly without him if he asked for money. "What the?" Wang Yan suddenly asked. "You said you were not a practitioner. Isn't he the same as you? Or is he one?" Neither Lu Shu nor Zhang Yanfeng answered. They packed up and walked out. This made the rest of the team worried. Without Zhang Yanfeng, who dared to stay at the campsite? Although Lu Shu had promised that he would return, but what if he could not? After no more than 20 kilometers, Lu Shu discovered the abandoned investigation base of the Heavenly Network. This was the entry point to the mountains, the closest place to Death Valley. Lu Shu opened the small, dusty door of the temporary building. There were no signs of fighting, except for a few scratches on the outside walls. They seemed to belong to wild animals. Then, he saw a group photo of the base staff. There was Luo Nan, his current form teacher. Everyone's work pass was hung there too. In the next second, Lu Shu was stunned. Back then, Luo Nan claimed that he had come to check on the situation after their loss of contact from the base. But judging from now, it was not the case because Luo Nan himself was a worker here. Following this vein, it was possible that he was the only Class C guard of the place. Chapter 737, The Mystery of Luo Nan. What's wrong? Zhang Yanfeng saw that Lu Shu was slightly absent-minded. He did not know Lu Shu's identity, thus he also did not know just how surprised Lu Shu was when he walked into the base and saw Luo Nan's photo. The base was made up of 3 temporary buildings arranged in a triangle. There was a heater that ran on fuel. One of the empty spaces were filled with neatly arranged boxes of canned food. Lu Shu shook his head. You are very experienced. Can you determine how long this place has been abandoned for? It's impossible, said Zhang Yanfeng. Normal, familiar places are much easier. Just see how much dust there is and you will be able to determine how long the place has been deserted. But this is also my first time coming here, thus I have no information that can help us. Wait for me, said Lu Shu. He walked into the temporary building. Aren't you afraid that Wang Zhe will go ahead first? Zhang Yanfeng was uncertain. He is sending us to our deaths, said Lu Shu calmly. Zhang Yanfeng was surprised. At first, when Lu Shu had just joined the group, he knew that Lu Shu wanted to go to Death Valley. If he was just an ordinary person, Zhang Yanfeng would not think too much of it. But Lu Shu was evidently not normal. His target was Death Valley. He definitely knew more than Zhang Yanfeng. Something must have happened here for a strange young man like Lu Shu to come here. Lu Shu opened every drawer in the temporary building, hoping to find some clues. He found a survey journal, but its contents were unimportant. It was as if the people in this base did not receive orders to enter Death Valley. Instead, they observed the mutation of animals here. Lu Shu looked at the dates. The latest entry was written 4 months ago. After that, everyone here disappeared, except for Luo Nan. Lu Shu thought about it and said, "Let's take a rest here. There's something I need to settle." In the distance, the blue light above the Kunlun Mountains was still flickering. The Black Mountains were like an abyss. At first, Lu Shu had wanted to enter the mountains at night to see what had happened. But he scrapped this idea because of Luo Nan. He wanted to see what was going on here first. Lu Shu could not find Luo Nan's employment pass here. The picture was a group picture with over 20 people there. To be honest, Lu Shu had no way of confirming whether Luo Nan was the Class C expert assigned to protect this base. If he had worked in the wilderness like everyone else, it would make sense for him to be in the same picture as everyone else. Lu Shu shoved the picture into the Seal of Lands to ensure that no one else would see it. Zhang Yanfeng did not question Lu Shu any further. He turned on the heater. There was a generator beside the heater. It was the end of June, but because of their elevation, it was still very cold, especially at night. Snow started to pile up on the Kunlun Mountains. Suddenly, snow started to fall outside. The temperature in the temporary building slowly rose. This small base was like a warm house. Everyone felt slightly relieved. Lu Shu stood at the door of the temporary building. He stared blankly at the Kunlun Mountains. The others started to take out their coats. Wang Yan's husband kept apologizing to Wang Yan, but she had no intention of accepting his apology. After all, being left behind in a life-or-death situation was a very traumatizing experience. Zhang Yanfeng boiled a kettle of water on the heater. At high elevations, the boiling point of water was very low, but under normal circumstances, heating water to 70 degrees Celsius was enough to kill most bacteria. One had to boil water for 20 minutes before being able to kill bacteria that were more resistant to heat, but they did not care much about this in the wilderness. Zhang Yanfeng passed a cup of hot water to Lu Shu. He saw the blue light shining down on the wilderness and sighed. How beautiful. The first time I went hiking, I followed a friend. Back then, I saw the vast night sky and the wilderness, and knew that I belonged here. You can't see snow in June in other places. How nice it would be if we had brought alcohol. Isn't there a poem? Night is falling and snow is approaching. Friend, will you share a cup with me? What's the next line? Lu Shu paused for 2 seconds. Alcohol for the driver, tears for the family? From Zhang Yanfeng's distress, plus 666. Zhang Yanfeng choked. He suddenly asked, "Why do you always pause for 2 seconds?" "I have to use my skills within 2 seconds," said Lu Shu as he looked into the distance without turning back. His face was lonely and cold like snow. From Zhang Yanfeng's distress, plus 66. Zhang Yanfeng felt very uncomfortable. So humiliating people is your skill? Lu Shu suddenly turned around and said to Zhang Yanfeng, "You should have a satellite phone, right?" Frequent hikers definitely had a satellite phone. Zhang Yanfeng took out a satellite phone from his traveling bag and passed it to Lu Shu. Lu Shu walked to one side and made a call. Zhang Yanfeng cooperated with Lu Shu as after encountering the giant bear, he found that Lu Shu was very mysterious. An enigmatic young man like him was worth investing in. But he was not sure where exactly this young man came from. Lu Shu came back and returned the satellite phone to Zhang Yanfeng. "We will rest here for 2 days to wait for my teammates." Zhang Yanfeng was dumbfounded. "Are your teammates nearby?" No, they are at the provincial capital of Qingzhou, said Lu Shu. Then they will probably take 5 or 6 days to reach here. Zhang Yanfeng calculated the distance. They had walked through the Kamukili Desert for 4 days, and took 5 days to reach this place. Even if Lu Shu's teammates were practitioners, they would probably take 5 or 6 days. No, 2 days are enough, said Lu Shu with confidence. It was as if he was not in the slightest bit worried that his teammates would not be able to reach here in 2 days. Just how strong were they? Zhang Yanfeng, who had always thought that Lu Shu was enigmatic, suddenly realized that he might have underestimated Lu Shu's strength. Suddenly, someone walked out and asked, "What are we doing after this?" "We will rest here for 3 days. There is canned food here." I looked at the canned food and the expiry dates are still far away. "We have enough fuel for electricity as well," said Zhang Yanfeng. "Why don't we take the same route back? Why are we staying here for nothing?" Wang Yan stood at the door and suddenly chipped in. "You can go back by yourselves," said Lu Shu peacefully. "No one's stopping you." He then walked towards the Kunlun Mountains. Before he left, he said to Zhang Yanfeng, "I'm going to take a walk, don't follow me. It's not a place that you can go." Zhang Yanfeng did not oppose him. He knew that following Lu Shu would just make him more tired. Although he wanted to rely on Lu Shu, he could not leave his life entirely in Lu Shu's hands. Chapter 738, Frenzied. "He's purposely making a mystery out of a simple thing," Wang Yan whispered. She did not dare to speak loudly, lest Lu Shu hear her. But everyone else heard her. Wang Zhe had left. The rest did not dare to go back by themselves. They could only rely on this mysterious young man for now. They dared to complain and grumble angrily in private, but they did not dare to question him directly. They were slightly puzzled. Why did Zhang Yanfeng suddenly follow this young man's lead? Even if the secret practitioner disappeared, he was just a Class D. Did Lu Shu not also run away back then when they encountered the bear? At least the facilities in the base were rather complete. Heavy snow was falling outside, but it was very warm inside. Everyone could only wait. Lu Shu went out to patrol every day, but he never found Wang Zhe. It was as if after that night, even Wang Zhe had vanished into thin air. On the 3rd day after they reached the base, Zhang Yanfeng woke up and stared in the direction they had come from. For some reason, he was silently expecting something. Lu Shu said that his teammates would arrive today. Zhang Yanfeng wanted to know whether Lu Shu was boasting. If they really arrived today, he would be able to have a definite idea of Lu Shu's strength. Wang Yan and the rest had been stuck here for 3 days. They had no phone signal and could not advance. They had found a deck of poker cards here, but more than 10 cards were missing. How could they play cards? They wanted to use pieces of paper to replace the missing cards, but they could not play this way. Everyone would know what cards they were. After 1 day, they decided to just play. It was better than nothing, but they realized that there was not even a single piece of paper in the entire base. "Hey, when will we be able to go back?" Someone complained, "I'm going crazy." Lu Shu thought about it. "Do you want me to tell you a story?" No need, no need," someone quickly stopped Lu Shu. Lu Shu looked at everyone and paused for 2 seconds. He then took out poker cards from his pocket. "These are the cards you are missing. Do you want to buy them? 1 for $100. From Zhang Yanfeng's distress, plus 666. From Wang Yan's distress, plus 666. From Li Kang's. Everyone was puzzled. Earlier, Lu Shu was the first person to discover the space. But the problem was, why did you not take the entire stack of poker cards away when you discovered them? Why did you have to take out a few cards before putting the rest back? What were you doing? Was it even humanly possible to come up with such a crazy method to earn money? Everyone haggled with Lu Shu for a long time. Finally, they bought back the remaining cards for $88 per piece. Lu Shu shoved the money in his pocket and said to Zhang Yanfeng, "I'm going on patrol." Zhang Yanfeng numbly nodded. He suddenly remembered that after a drink with Wang Zhe told him that he had provoked an enemy in the mainland. He was the Venerable, a celebrated figure among the secret practitioners. Back then, Wang Zhe had taken away one of the Venerable's magical stones. He used the magical stone as capital and brought in training resources from overseas to reach his current strength. But he did not dare to go back to the mainland. According to Wang Zhe, the Venerable seemed very amiable. He was a good thief. His harsh words also often pissed people off. Zhang Yanfeng suddenly thought, why was this young man so similar to the Venerable? Lu Shu walked off. Zhang Yanfeng tidied up the canned food by the door. This hiking trip was different from those in the past. He had to gather and arrange the resources that they could use. At that moment, Zhang Yanfeng saw a few black dots approaching them at high speed from far away. At first, Zhang Yanfeng thought that wild animals had come to attack them, but this was not the case. The black dots were humans. They wore black raincoats and ran towards the base. Zhang Yanfeng had seen these raincoats before. They were part of the standard attire of the Heavenly Network. Zhang Yanfeng was dumbfounded. Lu Shu's teammates had arrived on time. Zhang Yanfeng felt that he knew who Lu Shu was. To be honest, he had guessed in the past, but rejected the idea. The Heavenly Network was of a high standing within the local realm of cultivation. Zhang Yanfeng had never thought that he would be able to travel with experts from the Heavenly Network. Lu Xiaoyu and the rest ran over. They kicked up the snow with their fast movements. It was like a scene in the movies. The people in the base also walked out to witness this scene. The moment they stepped out, Lu Xiaoyu and the rest had already reached the door of the base. Chao Qingxi calmly observed her surroundings. Her hand was hidden under her raincoat. If Lu Shu was here, he would be able to see that Nie Ting had a similar habit. The hand hidden in her raincoat was definitely holding a knife. Chao Qingxi had officially taken Nie Ting as her teacher. Wang Yan suddenly asked, "You are?" There was the logo of the Heavenly Network on their raincoats, but they were not quite certain. Chang Qiuqiao and Chen Zuan did not speak. They looked at Lu Xiaoyu. To everyone's surprise, the youngest member was speaking on behalf of the team. Even Luo Nan did not interrupt her. Lu Xiaoyu coldly asked, "Auntie, where is Lu Shu?" From Wang Yan's distress, plus 888. Zhang Yanfeng said, "Are you his teammates?" He went to the gate to hell to check the situation. He should return in 2 hours. Suddenly, Chao Qingxi said, "A pack of wolves is approaching." Everyone looked around. Wolves? They did not see any. The mounds around the base had been covered by the heavy snow. Everything was white. After 1 minute, someone saw a pack of wild wolves in the southeast. They were slowly approaching the base. Wang Yan and the rest were frightened. They hurriedly ran back into the temporary building. Zhang Yanfeng took out his knife and was ready to fight. 42 of them, said Chao Qingxi. The pack of wolves slowly surrounded them. It was as if they were already certain of victory. The people in the temporary building looked out of the window and saw the wolves approach them. But Lu Xiaoyu and the rest had no signs of movement. The wolves came within 10 meters of the base. They looked like they had been frightened and wanted to run away. Suddenly, they silently looked in Lu Xiaoyu's direction and lay down on their stomachs. Lu Xiaoyu was very calm. She could control Naughty Pig, Big Cat, and Little Fury. These wild wolves, who had not even reached Class D, were nothing to her. "We'll be able to use these specimens for quite some time," said Chen Zuan happily. Chapter 739, The Anomaly in Species Research. In the dangerous wilderness, even an experienced leader like Zhang Yanfeng could not afford to let his guard down, let alone the younger ones of Wang Yan's kind. Before the magical era, humans already feared wolves, bears, and venomous animals. Sometimes wolves were incredibly persistent. Zhang Yanfeng once encountered 4 wolves following closely behind them for 12 days straight, causing everyone to tremble in fear the entire time. To make matters worse, these animals would not attack unsolicitedly. Instead, they simply followed you, keeping you on your toes all the time. In such cases, the best shot to survive was to study the weaknesses of those beasts. In fact, their greatest weakness was fatal injuries. Without medications such as antibiotics, infected wounds could be lethal for wolves. Therefore, they valued every chance of attack. Nonetheless, the healing abilities of wild animals had also improved after the regeneration of spirit qi. They had learned this via their newly acquired intelligence. Thus, they became even more violent and aggressive towards humans. Moreover, given their enhanced strength and speed, commoners were no match for them. Unexpectedly, though, Lu Shu's teammates had actually covered 9 days of walk in 3 days, or 2.5, to be more precise. The pack of wolves knelt down on the ground, facing Lu Xiaoyu, who stood tall like the wolf queen accepting the worship of the wolves. When looking through the window at this scene, Wang Yan and the rest were in disbelief. In contrast, Lu Shu's teammates could not be more composed. Upon retrospection, the greatest impression those people left on Zhang Yanfeng's mind was calmness, as though they were afraid of nothing. Be it Chen Zuan, Cheng Qiuqiao or Chao Qingxi, none of them appeared to have considered wolves a threat since the start. Lu Xiaoyu shot Chen Zuan a glimpse. "Do it. Quick." "Sure," replied Chen Zuan. Then, together with Cheng Qiuqiao, he slaughtered the wolves one by one and passed them to Chao Qingxi, who then packed the dead bodies in her invisible storage equipment. It was not their first time to witness Lu Xiaoyu's exceptional control of the beasts. However, they had only seen her use it on lone yaks or meek camels. In the Salt Lake remains, Lu Xiaoyu once called herself the Animal Whisperer. It was also then when Lu Xiaoyu discovered her special talent. Back then, surrounded by a huge pack of beasts, Lu Xiaoyu was riding Naughty Pig as she exited from the remains. That looked pretty impressive. Furthermore, this ability of hers had become increasingly more powerful as her strength grew. At the moment, she could control at least 10 Class C beasts effortlessly. In fact, this was not a gift, but a true special power. Even Lu Xiaoyu herself had no idea when she had awoken to it. But Lu Shu knew. Interestingly, the cultivation techniques of the celestial map had enabled Lu Xiaoyu to remold spirits as well. Both abilities could allow Lu Xiaoyu to secure victory based on quantity of weapons. The commoners, including Wang Yan, sat in the temporary building and stared in shock as Chen Zuan and Cheng Qiuqiao slaughtered the wolves quickly and decisively. Suddenly, Chen Zuan looked up and glanced over at the building with a hearty laugh, which immediately scared Wang Yan away from the window. Were they the young man's teammates? They were so strong, and it was unlikely that all Heavenly Network members were as powerful as them. After some hesitation, Zhang Yanfeng asked Lu Xiaoyu, "Are you the team leader?" To him, Lu Xiaoyu's ability to tame the wolves was truly unbelievable. Moreover, despite her young age, the entire team would always go to her for advice. Hence, it only seemed logical that she was the leader. That explained Lu Shu's insistence on waiting for his team, which included his leader and other strong support. Lu Xiaoyu cast him a glimpse and replied, "It's Lu Shu, not me." Speaking of which, where is he? That took Zhang Yanfeng, Wang Yan and the rest by surprise. Lu Shu was actually the leader of this incredibly powerful team. Then how strong must he be? It seemed that they had still underestimated the boy's ability. Meanwhile, Lu Xiaoyu and Chao Qingxi looked over towards the direction of the gate to hell at the same time. They saw Lu Shu running over against the windy snow, which had avoided Lu Shu as though by an invisible force. Lu Shu smiled at Lu Xiaoyu and the rest. "Caught a few mutated creatures over there. They can last our species research for quite a while." Zhang Yanfeng and the others were stunned. What? What was species research? They had seen the term amidst the heated discussion following the opening of the school term in cultivation colleges. But they found it unbelievable that these teenagers were all cultivation college students. What the? Besides, the species research was said to be the worst subject, admitting only the least talented students. Why did it not seem the case in reality? All of a sudden, Zhang Yanfeng sensed a change in atmosphere. Led by Lu Shu, Chang Qiuqiao, Chen Zuan, Chao Qingxi and Lu Xiaoyu slowly encircled Luo Nan. Lu Shu gestured Zhang Yanfeng to stand aside. Then, he took out the photo and asked calmly, Mr. Luo, you said that you were an investigation personnel in the periphery of the Kunlun Mountains, and that you had noticed the sudden loss of contact with this surveying base. Afterwards, everyone, including a Class C, had vanished from here overnight. Then, I found this photo in the base. Therefore, you were the Class C at the base, weren't you? Those hiding in the building were stunned. Why was there an internal conflict among members of the Heavenly Network? However, the first part of what Lu Shu said had already sent chills down their bones. All the staff at the base had once vanished from there, yet they had stayed inside for more than 2 days. How dangerous! Lu Shu and the rest patiently waited for a reply. Between Luo Nan and Lu Shu, all of them would trust the latter unconditionally. A slight trace of astonishment crossed Luo Nan's face. Then, he smiled. Regarding this, the man in the photo was not me. Otherwise, why would I refuse to collaborate with the investigators if I were the only survivor at the surveying base? Lu Shu was stunned too. Then who was he? Photos don't lie. He's my twin brother, Luo Bei, explained Luo Nan. Truth be told, I have always wanted to enter the Kunlun Mountains, not to figure out the truth inside, but to find out where on earth my brother is. Chapter 740, The Power of Revealing the Real Name. Luo Nan? Luo Bei? What a casual name. Honestly speaking, Lu Shu did not believe in such coincidence at all. As if having read his mind, Luo Nan took out his wallet and retrieved a photo. Here. This is our photo. Defensively, Lu Shu took a look at the photo. It was taken in a park and the two young Luo Nans were posing with their fingers showing the number 2. That was unexpected. What the hell was going on? The answer to his confusion could not possibly be so ridiculous. Hold on, Lu Shu said after some consideration, I need to confirm this. At this moment, the blue glow outside the gate to hell bloomed like a flower. The splendid light had seemingly transmitted everyone in the snow back to the base. Strips of blue light swayed in the sky. Lu Shu cast a brief glimpse at it and called Nye Ting via his satellite phone. To his surprise, the call failed, and it was more like his phone was spoiled, not because of the bad signal. Suddenly Lu Shu turned towards the blue-tinted sky. Then, he turned to Chen Zuan and urged, give me your phone. Confused, Chen Zuan dug out his phone and passed to Lu Shu. Lu Shu switched on his phone, whose screen immediately turned black once the power was on. As expected, all electronic devices would be destroyed instantly once their power was on. Lu Shu returned the phone to Chen Zuan, who stared at it in shock. Brother Shu, why didn't you use your own phone? My phone is not free, replied Lu Shu calmly. From Chen Zuan's distress, plus 666. What kind of excuse was that? Why did you purposely use other people's phones when you had already suspected that the sudden explosion of magical energy could destroy electronic devices? My phone is not free either, Brother Shu, the little fatty protested angrily. Never mind the details, replied Lu Shu. From Chen Zuan's distress, plus 747. At the moment, Lu Shu felt slightly disadvantaged that he could not confirm Luo Nan's claim, as all his deductions would have been wrong if Luo Nan was telling the truth. But the thing was, Lu Shu could sense something fishy about this man. Hence, he could not afford to let his guard down. Suddenly, he was reminded of a story about the Jade Cipher one he heard about last time. The incident had a simple beginning. A netizen published his bizarre encounter on a famous web forum under the username of Whisper218. Then, another person called snow_on_heart commented below, 218, "I will strangle you if you mention the Jade Cipher again." After that, both people disappeared from the world. As a result, the name, the Jade Cipher, made its first public appearance, which came along with many subsequent rumors and even a movie of the same name. Back to the issue at hand. It would not have escaped the eyes of the Heavenly Network if the story about Luo Nan's twin brother was fake. Nonetheless, Lu Shu believed that this matter was unrelated to the Jade Cipher because the Heavenly Network was extremely cautious when handling such cases. Anyway, Lu Shu and Lu Xiaoyu would not have joined the Heavenly Network either if they had not been sent to the orphanage when they were still babies. Lu Shu was a meticulous man and he definitely did not want to make the wrong judgment regarding such a crucial matter. After some thinking, he ordered, "Return via the same route because I have to go back to confirm your identity." Helplessly Luo Nan smiled. "I'm not lying. I really have a younger brother called Luo Bei." At first, I had already decided to withdraw from the species research team and I had even submitted my application to be transferred to the cultivation college. But how could I have expected that my brother would get himself into this trouble at this critical moment? Thus, I had no choice but to pick up where he left off. After a short pause, Lu Shu commented, "Pick up? Any lines?" From Luo Bei's distress, plus 666. From Lu Xiaoyu's distress, plus 177. From. The entire group turned to Lu Shu in astonishment, while Lu Xiaoyu looked at him expressionlessly. Wow. That was unexpected. But Lu Shu remained quiet. He was not trying to be lame, but to test his real name. For some reason, this guy had not produced any distress points even when Lu Shu and the rest questioned Luo Nan's identity, and this was why Lu Shu felt suspicious. If he was truly Luo Nan, he would have produced at least 1 or 2 distress points when doubted. However, he did not, as if he had seen it coming. Back in the classroom where Lu Shu obtained Luo Nan's real name, he was still Luo Nan. But now, this man was no longer Luo Nan. What on earth had happened inside the gate to hell? If Luo Bei had really entered, why could he return while the others had all vanished? Besides, why did he lie? What was his intention? From the start, Lu Shu had always thought that he was only running errands for Nie Ting this time. But now it seemed not that simple. Could he have misunderstood Nie Ting this time? Based on the current situation, it was highly likely that they were lured there by Luo Nan and Luo Bei, not Nie Ting. Nonetheless, Lu Shu insisted that he should not be blamed because it was easy to associate this matter with his identity as an audit student. It was simply too much of a coincidence. Luo Bei said with a smile, "You may want to check the steel bar on the right side of the temporary building. A long time ago, all of the staff here carved their names on it when bored so that their future colleagues would know who had come before. My brother's name is there too." Immediately Chen Zuan went to check. Then, he shouted over, "Brother Shu, there's really a name called a Luo Bei here." Until then, Lu Shu could confirm that Luo Bei had survived for some reason while his team had disappeared together with the surveying base. But now, Luo Bei was trying to lead them into Death Valley. Lu Shu grinned. "I see. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. Please pardon me. After all, being careful is never wrong. Okay, then, let's head to Death Valley." Luo Bei replied, "Your suspicion is understandable. I won't take it too hard against you for this matter. Anyway, I would have done the same if I were you. In any case, the Heavenly Network needs meticulous people like you." "Glad to know that you don't mind," said Lu Shu. Then, he took the lead and walked towards the Death Valley. Before that, he glanced at Lu Xiaoyu, but the latter remained silent. At that moment, Lu Shu was also curious about what the mysteries hidden inside Death Valley were, and where Luo Bei wanted to bring them to.
What does it mean to be happy? 'Cause it looks like we all don't know. Glass half full or empty, and we just putting on a show. Try to look to the heavens.